Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Thanks for joining us here for the news on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. We do start with a programming notice. We are standing by for Savannah Mayor Van Johnson to give his weekly address to the media. You can see that podium right now at Savannah City Hall. The press conference is scheduled for 10 o'clock. However, these tend to run a little late, so we will take it live in its entirety as soon as the mayor takes to the podium in a couple of minutes. One of the things we do plan to ask him about is the recent ICE protests that have been happening around the city, both here locally, in the Coastal Empire, and nationally as well. Again, we will be monitoring this feed, and we will bring you that press conference once it begins. In the meantime, though, we do have a handful of top stories to tell you about. Starting out in Rincon, where police are investigating an armed robbery caught on a Ring doorbell camera at the Effingham Park apartment complex on January 8th. Now, investigators say two masked suspects confronted a military veteran as he arrived home, and then they stole his car and wallet before fleeing. Neither of the suspects have been found, and one still remains unidentified. Police are actively seeking the public's help to identify the other suspect. Now, the Rincon police chief says the victim, in his words, was the, quote, worst victim these suspects could have chosen.
You have somebody that has sacrificed so much and served for their country just to come back home and be robbed at gunpoint.
Police say the stolen vehicle has not been recovered, and they urge anyone with information to contact the Rincon Police Department. A Bacon County jailer is facing felony charges related to sexual contact with an inmate. Here's what we know. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation arrested 44-year-old David Jackson of Bacon County. He's charged with 3 felonies: improper sexual contact by an employee, items prohibited for possession by inmates, and violating oath of office. An investigation revealed Jackson had sexual contact with one female inmate multiple times while working as a jailer, and the investigation shows he brought contraband into the jail numerous times. In health news, the Georgia Department of Public Health confirms a baby in the Coastal Health District has contracted the measles. Officials say the baby caught the virus while traveling overseas and was too young to receive a measles vaccination. This is the first reported measles case in Georgia this year. Now, the virus is highly contagious and spreads through the air when a person coughs or sneezes. Symptoms appear 1 to 2 weeks after exposure, and they include high fever, cough, runny nose, and watery eyes before a rash of red spots appear. In state news, Georgia lawmakers are back under the Gold Dome. They kicked off the state's 40-day legislative session yesterday. State House reporter Abby Kasouris has the story.
A line wrapped around the block just to get through Capitol security, paired with a heavier police presence, setting the tone early. The crack of the gavel officially launching Georgia's 40-day session. Inside, it's a mix of tradition and transition.
We need to welcome 3 new members.
5 lawmakers, 2 senators, and 3 representatives celebrating their very first day after winning special elections to fill seats left vacant last year.
I wrote every senator from both parties a handwritten note just telling them that telling everybody looking forward to seeing them down here.
Democrats' narrowing margins in recent elections may complicate an already tight path forward as public pressure builds from day one.
I got a phone call from Vice President Kamala Harris who told me that I had given hope to the nation, and that felt a little heavy to hear. But she's not the only one I've heard that from. And if people are inspired to run for office, challenge the people who are in there to do a better job, then I'm happy that I did my part.
Press conferences firing off one after another. Different signs, different causes, from funding and education to gun safety and public trust.
I think the most important message is for the legislators to be aware that their constituents really care.
Constituents lining the velvet ropes outside of the chambers as hundreds of Georgians packed the Capitol for a coordinated Pack the Capitol event, waiting for their chance to speak directly with lawmakers.
I'm very, very concerned about bills that would restrict our freedoms.
There's no warm-up period, with few new faces, shifting leadership, and voices from outside growing louder. The 2026 session begins with momentum and tension.
And as the state legislative session resumes, advocates are pushing hard on cannabis-related issues. Groups from across Georgia are speaking out on medical use, adult use, decriminalization, and the need to end stigma. Georgia is currently a medical cannabis state, meaning only eligible patients can purchase and possess low THC products. Advocates say legislators need to hear their requests as they push for more than a dozen bills this session. The focus includes expanding medical options, protecting patients from incarceration, and increasing access for those who rely on cannabis for health and wellness.
It's a little bit preaching to the choir because we all love this incredible plant. It's still within the walls of a building that doesn't hear enough about how incredible this plant is and how essential it is for our survival, I think.
Because we want to make sure that there are no mandatory minimums. No patient should worry about being incarcerated for their plant.
Advocates hope the session will bring concrete changes, and they're ready to push lawmakers to act on cannabis legislation that has been in the making for years. Well, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp will deliver his final State of the State address at the state capitol this week. He's expected to outline his priorities for the legislative session on Thursday. The State of the State is happening at 11 a.m., and you can stream it right here on WTOC Plus on Thursday. The governor is in his second consecutive term, which runs until January of 2027. And in South Carolina, lower taxes and better roads. That's what Governor Henry McMaster wants for the state. He's unveiled his budget plan yesterday using billions in surplus monies. State House reporter Stephen Biddix breaks it down.
The governor says South Carolina's growing economy created $2.7 billion in additional revenue they weren't expecting. Now he's looking to put that back into South Carolina.
South Carolina is booming, as you know.
Governor Henry McMaster wants to put nearly $3 billion surplus dollars to good use, starting with investing more than $1 billion of it into road infrastructure projects.
Nationally and here in South Carolina, inflationary construction and labor cost increases threaten to cripple all of that. You may have seen the figures, how some of the estimates for building these roads have gone up about 50%.
McMaster wants to continue lowering the state's income tax rate, proposing to drop it from 6% to 5.9%, with hopes the legislature can fully eliminate it.
But we don't need to stop at 5.9. We should continue to eliminate the personal income tax rate as much as we can, as fast as we can. And if we keep growing the way we're growing and growing in the right way, we'll be able to do that.
But that idea concerns some top Democrats, like Senate Minority Leader Brad Hutto.
If we are going to eliminate one of those taxes, then by default, we may have to increase one or the other. And I don't think anybody wants more sales tax, anybody wants more property tax.
Another priority for McMaster's is education. He proposes raising the minimum teacher salary to $50,000, providing free breakfast to all students, and freezing college tuition at public universities for in-state residents.
We have to educate these people, our young people, and the college tuition is getting so high that some can't go. So we're freezing that tuition, and as you know, we're also providing a lot of scholarships.
These policy suggestions aren't set in stone. Lawmakers will create a budget of their own in the coming weeks and months. Reporting at the State House, I'm Stephen Biddix.
All right, well, we talked about this at the top of the show. Savannah Mayor Van Johnson's now hosting his weekly address to the city. Let's go ahead and listen in.
To a new year. Although the year's changed, our focus remains the same, and that is investing on what matters the most, strong public safety, safe infrastructure, economic opportunity for all, and certainly being able to honor the history and the values that shape our great city. Last week was a big week. It was huge for us, and it's probably one of the most transformational things in an administration that's been known for transformational things. A milestone moment. We celebrated the 80th anniversary of our I&D plant, which is the industrial domestic water treatment plant. And it was the groundbreaking for our expansion. This was a huge event, major event, and really the turnout reflected the significance of this project and what it means for our community. We were joined by our state officials and regional partners, of course our council and local elected leaders, and community stakeholders, all coming together to recognize what this huge investment means for Savannah. The reality is that Savannah is the premier water utility in this region. That was recognized, but to be able to engage with the state and other counties at the level that we've been able to really is going to create win-wins for Savannah for the next 80 years. This will outlive all of us. And this project really is more than about pipes and pumps. It's really about public health, and it's about environmental stewardship. It's about ensuring that our city has the capacity and the reliability that's going to need for future growth. It's about being less reliant on the Floridian aquifer for our water and really depending more on surface water. We know that clean, safe water is foundational to everything we do, from daily life to economic development. And this investment really ensures that our city continues to plan ahead and not reacting later. And so I want to thank our utilities team, our water resources team. We're huge in this, our engineers, our contractors, Team Savannah, our attorney and city manager, Joe Sherhouse and his team. This had to be brokered and shepherded through on the state side. It was not an easy feat, but to be able to reach this type of investment while helping our region really is a great thing for us. And so this is a multi-year project, and this work will continue for years. And what we started last Friday will really serve our residents for generations to come. So really, really happy about that. And then looking ahead, I want to highlight another significant public safety milestone coming up on January the 20th. We will be opening up the new Hampstead West Modular Public Safety Facility. And so this facility is at 3002 Highgate Boulevard, 3002 Highgate Boulevard. And for us, it really represents a significant step in providing fire and police services in one of our city's fastest growing areas. As our community continues to grow, we have to continue to manage that growth and make sure we have what we need to get to where we need to be. And so this site includes a fully functional fire station with lodging and apparatus bays, along with a police substation that strengthens our response times and our community presence. And so this project was completed on time at a cost of approximately $3.9 million or so. This was funding from the SPLOST 6 Fund and the city's general fund. So while this is a modular facility, meaning it's temporary, it plays a crucial role right now. It is a projection platform, and I want our residents to know that modular is the precursor to permanent. And so a permanent public safety facility for the new Hampstead area is already in the design phase. For us, growth requires preparation, and this is what responsible planning and management looks like. I want to also lift up that we continue to invest in people, and particularly our small businesses and our neighborhood community leaders. And this is through our, I'm gonna see if I get it right, the Community Advancement Leadership Institute, CALI. You know, we have acronyms, we like acronyms. So it's the Community Advancement Leadership Institute. And we've been doing workshops at the Coastal Georgia Center at 305 Farm Street. And so on January the 22nd, the Branding for Beginners workshop will help entrepreneurs and small business owners to learn really how to tell their own story and tell it with clarity and consistency. And then on January the 24th, we will have our Super Saturday Kickoff, which will bring neighborhood leaders together for a hands-on workshop focused on building strong and effective neighborhood associations. This these sessions are really about empowerment, making sure that our residents, through our neighborhood associations, have the tools, the resources, and the support that they need to strengthen their businesses and their neighborhoods and to be active partners in the city's progress. We don't own or control any neighborhood associations. They are their own entities, but we feel that we have a role to play to helping to strengthen them, to empower them, to make them more effective. And we are really blessed by having, I think, over 100 neighborhoods and probably well over 50 neighborhood associations. I also want to provide an update on the temporary closure of Louisville Road. As a part of the city's ongoing efforts to improve drainage within the Dundee Canal drainage basin, we've closed the Louisville Road between Telfair Street and Fair Street. And so this is an important piece of our long-term 100-year conveyance master plan, which is designed to reduce flooding risk and improve stormwater flow across this area of the city. Shouts out to our friends out in the Woodville area who've been asking for this for a while. We're glad we're able to finally deliver in a big way. As a part of this project, crews are installing a double-barrel, let me get this right, a double-barrel 3-by-4 foot box culvert. All I know is a big cement thing, but it's a double-barrel 3-by-4 foot box culvert, which will significantly improve our drainage capacity and provide meaningful upstream relief north of Louisville Road. And so while we know that road closures are inconvenient, we know that they're a pain in the neck, we appreciate everyone's patience as this necessary work continues to move forward. Drivers and nearby residents are encouraged to plan alternate routes and to allow extra travel time. Construction is expected to last currently about 30 days, and we will continue to share updates as this work continues. Also, this week, a big week in our city as we approach the birthday of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and likewise the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Observance Day on next Monday, where city facilities will be closed. But then there's a whole weekend, a plethora of events to celebrate this great man. And so I want to invite the city to join us on this Saturday, January the 17th at 3:00 p.m. for a meaningful celebration and a renaming ceremony honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We will officially name the Savannah Civic Center as the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center. And this is a name that reflects both our city's history and our city's future. This is a free, family-friendly event which will include moments of reflection, interactive activities, a community memory collection effort really designed to preserve stories and photographs and experiences connected to the Civic Center and Dr. King's lasting impact on Savannah. There are folks around here that remembered when Dr. King visited Savannah on several occasions. When he spoke at Savannah's Municipal Auditorium, which was the precursor to our Civic Center. And so we want to really gather those stories. So it's a big day. This ceremony will not only embody the spirit of Dr. King, but really the spirit of how we got to the Observance Day holiday and the work that's been done well before I got on the scene. We used to have these huge citywide MLK Observance Day celebrations where after the parade, everybody went to the Civic Center in the MLK arena. Then there were these huge Observance Day opportunities. So we're going to go back and we're going to borrow that spirit. And so at the Civic Center at 3:00 p.m., we will be partnering with the MLK Observance Day Association and the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance to really bring back that sense of togetherness to this space. And so I'm encouraging everyone to join us in the Johnny Mercer Theater as we dedicate the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center and honor a legacy that continues to guide our city. And we're hoping that everybody will come out. On Monday, of course, as we approach the MLK holiday, I want to highlight the 48th annual MLK Observance Day Association celebration here in Savannah. We're told that we have in Savannah the largest MLK parade in the country, and I believe it. This year's observance includes a citywide memorial service on Sunday, the day after the dedication, followed by the MLK Day parade on Monday, January 19th. The parade begins at 10 a.m. and it will run in downtown Savannah, and it will go from 10 to 1 o'clock. It's a pretty big parade. And we have a theme this year, a fight with courage, a victory for love. And so everyone knows this is a really great day for our entire community to come out, and they come out. And even if it's cold, we're not afraid of low cold. We'll come out. We're afraid of rain, but we're afraid of cold rain, and we're terrified of snow. But if it's cold, it's all right. We'll just bundle up and we'll come out. But residents need to be aware of really the temporary traffic impacts related to the parade. We all know where the parade goes. We know that parade staging areas will close to traffic beginning at 6 o'clock a.m. on Monday. We will start towing around that time, and the full parade route will close to traffic at 9 a.m. Roads are expected to reopen by 2 p.m. And so we're encouraging our residents and visitors to really plan ahead, to follow posted signage, and to use alternate routes where possible. I invite everybody to join us for this meaningful weekend as we honor the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And we come together as a city rooted in courage, rooted in love, and shared purpose. So yesterday was a big day in our state, as Joe Sherhouse would tell you. It kicked off our Georgia General Assembly's 40-day legislative session. And so we don't know. I mean, it's an interesting day for a couple of reasons. It's going to be an interesting session for a couple of other reasons. It's just really hard to see where this is going to go. It's an election year for all of the state officers, to include all of the members of the General Assembly. So there'll definitely be some election year posturing and pontificating, I think, going on. And to that end, we will have a new governor. We will have a new lieutenant governor. Definitely we will have a new attorney general. And we've had some of our members of our Senate who have now declared for a higher office, which will change the makeup of the Senate, the House not as much. And so for us, our work does not change. We look forward to continue to work with the best legislative delegation in the state. We have a great team that represent us in Atlanta, and we continue to work with them to advance and protect Savannah's interest and the interest of our citizens. And so we say thanks and good luck to Chairman Ron Stevens, Senator Derek Mallow, Senator Ben Watson, Senator Billy Hickman, Representative Mayor Edna Branch Jackson, Representative Jesse Petrie, Representative Carl Gilliard, Colonel Bill Hitchens, and Representative Ann Allen Westbrook, who lead our community and who represent us well in Atlanta. And so we're looking forward to what this means. Sometimes we are playing offense, and sometimes we're playing defense, and sometimes we're playing both in the same day. But we look forward to continuing to build strong partnerships. We don't do this alone. We recognize we need our partners at the state level to help us, and we're looking forward to better outcomes for our residents. And as always, as we continue to keep an eye on public safety, I'll end this week with our 10 most wanted list. We update this weekly to reflect the most dangerous individuals currently at large in our city. we recognize, and this has been hugely successful in helping us to identify and get individuals off our street who don't need to be here. If you hear your name on here, if you know somebody on here, we want you to call us directly at 912-525-3124, 912-525-3124, and we want you to submit an anonymous tip on the SPD mobile app, or you can call my office at 912-651-6444. Is it 6444 or 4444? 6444. Thank you. I don't even know my own number. But call us. I mean, talk to me. I mean, I'll tell if you don't want to tell. So thank you very much. This week is Taisha Jackson. We want to talk to Taisha for aggravated assault, Tyshawn Simmons for aggravated stalking and criminal trespassing, Malik Davis for aggravated assault and possession of a firearm, Corey Underwood for aggravated assault. Rictavius Gilliard has been on here for a while, aggravated assault and aggravated stalking. Tobias Alston for aggravated assault and possession of a firearm. Anthony Brown for aggravated assault and possession of a firearm. Elenaxi Castillo, battery and cruelty to children. Timothy Patterson for rape and aggravated assault. Malik Williams for aggravated battery. We want everyone to do your part to help protect our community. Again, you're not doing your community or these folks a favor by, being solid. You see them, let us know. Turn them in. We would rather them be safe than the streets to get them. And so you can go to savannahpd.org/most wanted, savannahpd.org/most wanted. So that ends my prepared remarks this morning, and we thank you for being here and helping us to share important updates to the public. We remain committed to transparency and communication, and we also want to continue to do the work that makes our city safer, and makes our city stronger, and makes our city more connected. So we'll take questions from our media partners. If you have questions and you're on Facebook at Mayor Johnson SAV or Savannah, City of Savannah, or on my Instagram, Mayor Johnson SAV. If you have questions, drop those questions in the chat. I will answer those after our media partners. And I'm still working on my TikTok. So hopefully this year, Ms. Ross knows will get me straight on TikTok, so then I'll be cool like everybody else. So we'll take our media questions. Good morning.
Ansley Franco, Savannah Morning News.
Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the theme for the parade this year and what that means to you personally and the city.
Yeah, so the theme, and the interesting thing for years, this has always come from young people in our school system. And so I think it's really good hearing their perspectives, that Dr. King continues to resonate with them, although he's been dead longer than their parents have been alive. When you think about just the long impact for them. The theme this year, and I just said it, and I want to make sure I quote it right, a fight with courage, a victory for love. Meaning that, courage remains. I mean, even in 2026, we still need folks with courage. When Dr. King was in his time, I mean, the fact is we all love and revere him now. Back in those days, and particularly in the latter part of his life, he was hated. And he was criticized, even by black leadership. They just said, hey, maybe, and then when he turned the focus from civil rights to economic rights and economic parity, of course, the game changed. So I think we still need individuals to have courage, people to speak in the face of things that are going on. And then, of course, that love still prevails. And so even in the midst of very, very trying times, we should continue to lead in love. And so, we want to love hard. We want to love the hell out of you, so to speak. And our city continues to do better, which is why we want to be a city that loves. If you love, you can serve. But that means you have to see people for where they are. You have to be, have the courage to sometimes say the things that need to be said. So that's what it means to me. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor.
How are you, sir?
Doing all right.
Good.
Start to the year. First thing that's off the top of my head that's been going on lately in Savannah are the ICE protests, the Venezuela protests, both in Forsyth and in front of the city center. Can you just kind of talk to me about what you make of them? I know a couple people were arrested for them. What exactly would be your message for people who are looking to protest, or your thoughts on the protests so far?
The city of Savannah recognizes the right of people to peacefully assemble and to seek redress. We support that right, absolutely. We will do what we can to protect that right and to protect the people that are demonstrating. It's not our prerogative to determine what they are protesting about. And I think people who have organized protests and demonstrations here have found that the city of Savannah, vis-a-vis the Savannah Police Department, have been very, very easy to work with in doing that. On Thursday, there was a protest outside of City Hall. I came in and joined it. And then the attention turned to me, and they called me a Zionist. I mean, I'm just standing there. But again, that's what makes our country what it is. Saturday was a different issue. We will continue to support the right of individuals to peacefully assemble. We will not tolerate willful disobedience of the law. That is for everyone's safety. And so if you disobey the lawful commands given to you by law enforcement, there will be consequences for that. And I think we have to be very, very clear in that. We're going to ask you one time. We might ask you twice. There won't be a third time. And so, it's unfortunate that 2 individuals were arrested, but I believe that the city of Savannah and our police department acted within the law, acted responsibly, and so we support our officers in that regard.
It's like a dance going on out there.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
about the sound of progress, man.
The MLK parade as well. I just wanted to confirm. You said you're being told it's the biggest.
Yeah, we've been told that Atlanta used to have the largest one. Obviously, they changed it to more of a march than a parade. So we gladly just jumped up and took the moniker. So even if it's not, we say it is. We say we have the second largest St. Patrick's Day parade. We own that. So we're going to own the largest parade. I don't know of other parade in the country that's 3 hours long that has, 300 plus units that you start during breakfast and you end during lunch. So again, it's just, we really do MLK. And this is really about locals and people really getting into that spirit. So.
And then just kind of a disappointing trend as of late regarding the youth of Savannah. I'm thinking about the 17-year-old who crashed his mother's car, 13-year-old who, had a gunfight in the school bathroom or school locker room, excuse me. I know that you guys have summer initiatives for kids regarding violence and crime in the area, but what are you guys trying to do now, kind of maybe in response to some of these issues that have popped up as of late within the youth?
Well, we're present. We can't raise people's kids, and we're not going to take that responsibility. A 17-year-old is a legal adult. Young people have to make better decisions. I don't know why a 13-year-old had a gun in a school or why a 13-year-old had a gun, period. But again, it wasn't on city property, school board's property. But again, we don't take responsibility for raising people's kids. They have to raise their own kids. And, I was blessed to be in a household with parents that raised me and trained me. And the reality was there was not much I was going to do. There was not going to be too many people I was going to be around or things I was going to be engaged in that they did not know about. Train a child in the way he should go. And we need more training of that. Now, we recognize that, kids are going to be kids and do things outside their parents' purview, but we really want our parents to continue to really hunker down and be a lot more engaged, making sure young people are engaged. We're providing those activities, but we're not going to raise people's kids. By the time we get involved, unfortunately, a lot of times it's too late.
And then just my last question.
Sure.
Regarding Yamacraw, I know we talked about it one-on-one, but just a couple of people I know have been talking about it as they see more things getting boarded up lately, and the Housing Authority of Savannah meets on Wednesday to talk about it. I know that demolishing, rebuilding it is something that has to go through the city board as well. And
through the city board?
The council, excuse me.
No. It doesn't have to go through city council. It's a HUD process, I think, other than the permitting side of it, but that's through a city department. It's not through council. We wouldn't have to vote on it.
Okay, maybe I was thinking of the manager or something. But can you kind of talk about the update with that and what the plans are if you're briefed on anything regarding Yamacraw?
The reality is that Yamacraw is now becoming a public safety hazard. There are over 300 apartments there. Less than 100 of them are occupied. It's dark. It's blighted. The Housing Authority is doing what they can to board up those places, but we also know that those are still places that people get into, that animals get into. And so it needs to come down. We have to do what we can to provide affordable and low-income housing opportunities for people, and people deserve to have quality housing. And as long as 300 units are there and over 200 of them are not utilized, those are missed opportunities for people to have a place to call home. And so we've gone through this. We've debated back and forth. We've met. We've had public meetings. It's time for something to happen. And I think we have made the commitment and we've made it clear that Yamacraw is public housing. It shall remain public housing, albeit with some mixed-use elements. But it will be for individuals that cannot, afford, higher cost homes. And so we need to go ahead, knock it down, and get started on creating the quality housing we know Yamacraw will be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Jillian Coles, WSAV.
Yes, ma'am.
Following his questions about the anti-ICE protests, I was wondering if you had any statements on the DSA's demands to drop all charges of the two that were arrested.
That's my statement. Yeah. Again, they can deal with that in court. If you break the law, there need to be consequences for that. And so, for what I understand, there were multiple requests for the individuals to comply. They chose not to, so they chose their consequence. So, as far as I'm concerned, that is for a judge to decide, and they can demand that the judge drops the charges, which they can do. But we have to make sure for the public safety, because if something happened, then the same group would turn around and say that we were derelict in not protecting people. So, again, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. We're going to make sure that people are safe, but we need them. And again, we support I've gone to some of their events. We need them to make sure that the individuals in their demonstrations are following the law.
Thank you. And then my second question, it's now 6 months after the Oglethorpe Mall shooting.
Yes.
Can you talk about what specific actions has the city taken to make Savannah safer, and measurable results that you see since this tragic incident?
Well, I think, the most important fact is when you look at the Oglethorpe Mall shooting, the fact is all 6 of them are in custody. And I believe at some point in February, they'll start, the court motions and things involving that. Keeping people safe is what we do every single day. We recognize at the end of the year, we ended up a little up on homicides. I think in 2023, we were at 28. Last year, we were at 25. And then 2023, we were at 28. 2024 we were 25, and then 2025 we were at 28 again. So less than 30. But then when you break it down further in terms of what has occurred regarding domestic violence incidents, incidents happening in people's homes. Those add to those. Individuals who've known each other or have had some type of incident each other, we would easily be well below 20 to 15. We're down in rape. In 2023, we had 55, and we had 2024, we had 55, but in 2025, we had 42. So again, down in that as well. In street robberies, were up somewhat, but then also in aggravated assaults with a gun, down. So I think, we continue to work. And then when you look at the statistics of what happened, we have to also look at the fact of what did not happen. And so our police department, but our community, continues to do what we can. We continue with our top 10 most wanted to get individuals off the streets. We continue with our federal prosecutor to prosecute people federally for stuff that can rise to the federal standards. And we continue to insist that our state prosecutors and our judges hold people accountable, particularly for violent crimes within our community. Our police clearance rate surpasses the state and the federal, so we're getting them off the streets. We have to make sure they stay off of the streets as well. We've reduced the number of guns that were stolen from unlocked cars, and so hopefully that translates to less guns on the street, which translates to less guns being used in violent situations.
And then my last question, like you said, the city is investing in public safety, and they actually just sent out a call for new police officers.
Yes.
Can you speak exactly what you guys are looking for in those police officers?
Well, as a former police officer myself, I mean, you have to have people who love people. You love people. And for us, we've been very, very specific. We did not want to create a situation where we're just filling bodies. I mean, I know from my human resources background and from my law enforcement background that if you hire poorly, you end up having poor results along the way. No, we want quality individuals, and we've been really blessed to really get some great individuals onto our police force. We're looking forward to them joining. Again, there are people who complain, come on and be the police. We're starting off at $60,000, which is literally over 100% more than I was making when I joined the police force some years ago. Great benefits, a great career field. We have men and women, people of all races, all origins that are part of our police force, and it's a great career. And it transitions to all of the stuff. For me, it transitioned into human resources and now into politics. So looking forward to good people who want to protect and serve. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Tia Maggio with WJCL. Good
Yes.
to see you. We're now over a month, of course, since the tragic accident attack in Forsyth Park. Individuals still have many questions. I think, frankly, they're starting to feel frustrated with lack of new information. Do you have any updates for them?
Nope. Lack of information doesn't mean the work is not going on. We do not want to do anything that's going to jeopardize the investigation. And so, we would rather people be upset about lack of what's the use of publicly available information if it's not going to identify the individual involved? I know that the police, along with our federal partners, the FBI, who issued a release saying they identified the substance that was used. We will release information as it is available and as it is not germane to impede the investigation. I think that is what the most important thing is. And I think that people say the most important thing in this is making sure that we identify the individuals that were involved. We continue to, this is such a unique thing. And again, we've seen 100,000 conspiracy theories. We want to get it right. We want to get it right. And so I suspect that we will get it right.
Absolutely.
Just takes time sometimes.
I know you mentioned you've had direct contact with Ashley, right?
I did.
Do you know any updates on how she's doing?
I mean, obviously, these were very, very traumatic injuries, and it's going to be a very, very long road ahead for her. The generosity of this community has been amazing. She feels the love, and she told me she's blessed, and I think that's a wonderful attitude for someone who's endured what she's endured. I think it's day by day, moment by moment, but she has a strong support system, and so we're grateful for that. And I know that there are people in the city praying for her.
And then switching topics, I know you mentioned obviously, potentially looking at new governor, new lieutenant governor, new AG. WJCL hosted last week a forum with some of the Democratic candidates for the governor. How important is it for Savannah to be part of course, this major government election we've had in quite some time? How important is it to be involved in that?
Oh, I mean, the reality is Savannah has something to say. Savannah and coastal Georgia has something to say, and I was glad to be a part of the Democratic forum that was hosted. It was important that they know where Savannah is and they know what Savannahans are saying. We recognize that Georgia is bigger than Metro Atlanta. And so if anybody's going to win any of these statewide races, governor, lieutenant governor, any of the constitutional officers, they're going to have to also win Savannah and coastal Georgia. And so we want to make sure that they recognize that and how important we are to that equation.
And then for a final question, also how important is it for issues that directly impact Savannah citizens? How important is it to then get directly to those candidates for governor?
Well, again, I think that's it. I mean, the reality is that we have issues that are different. We have water, issues of sustainability, our river, our ports, transportation, childcare, housing, all of those things that are not necessarily specific to the coast, but are based on the coast, sustainability, climate change. These are things that we address here, and we want to make sure that individuals that are vying for the top spots in our state government understand the whole of government and the whole of the state of Georgia. And so I was glad they were all here. All 7 Democratic candidates are here. We're hoping that when the Republicans have theirs, that they'll also come in big numbers, and they also spend time here talking to Savannahans. All right? Thank you. Anything, sir? All right. Well, yes, sir.
Sorry, I always come at the end of the budget.
You're fine.
But Savannah and Effingham and Bryan County all came together. You were there for the IMD water treatment plant expansion.
Yes.
That's getting underway. I believe the first phase is currently underway, right? Can you talk
Yes.
about the progress, what you saw there, and what you're hearing?
Well, I mean, again, right now it's just dirt, but it's extensive planning and really creating a multi-year, multi-million-dollar project that will create new water towers for us, and again, create ways for us to really engage more on the surface water piece. It's a significant upgrade. While Effingham County builds theirs, then ultimately they'll wean off of our system and they'll have their own system so that we'll have more capacity for our citizens. I think that is huge. They will provide, Effingham will provide water for Bryan County and then the needs of the Hyundai plant. So again, I think it was a huge regional win. Again, I think our state delegation, the city, this is the city playing with counties. So the city of Savannah, Effingham County, Bryan County, all of us engage. And, you know, when we say team, everybody wins. And so this is a big win-win for our community. All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you all so much. Have a good week. Happy King Day. Remember, we are closed next Monday. City offices are closed. Emergency resources will still be busy at work. But thank you all for coming. Thank you for being Savannah Strong.
Well, you heard from Savannah Mayor Van Johnson giving his weekly media address to the city and media. Handful of things he talked about there for just about 30, 40 minutes this morning. Notably touching on the start of Georgia's legislative session, talking about the Coastal Empire and Savannah's representation at the state level. The mayor also discussed the recent ICE and Venezuela protests going on around the region, but also the handful of protests that have happened in Savannah in front of City Hall. And finally, of course, talked a little bit about the Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations coming up next week. Of course, the parade happening on Monday, calling it one of the biggest in the country. We will have plenty of coverage on that, especially early next week, but we'll have the parade right here on WTOC and WTOC is Plus as well. So we're certainly looking forward to that. And during that press conference, we did get a news alert. This is just into our newsroom. The Hampton County Sheriff's Office is investigating after a patrol car was stolen. Here's what we know. The Hampton County Sheriff's Office says it happened in the Charleston Highway area. A high-speed pursuit followed after that patrol car was stolen, and that patrol car was later stopped near Palmetto Avenue and Cemetery Road, where the suspect, was taken into custody. 2 Hampton County Sheriff's deputies were injured during this incident, and the Hampton County Sheriff's Office says they were taken to a medical facility for evaluation and treatment. Their conditions are being monitored. HCSO says this does remain an active investigation, and they'll be releasing more details as they become available. But they are asking the public to avoid that area. Again, Palmetto Avenue and Cemetery Road. And, they are, of course, sending prayers with the deputies who were injured at this time. We will let you know as we learn more about that incident. We have just a handful of stories we'd like to finalize things with here on WTOC Plus. Turning to some national news, the issue of transgender women competing in women's school sports teams is set to be argued at the nation's highest court. This is happening right now. The Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments on the matter today. Idaho and West Virginia is defending their bans as civil rights attorneys argue they violate the Constitution. The Trump administration will also appear to defend the bans. The position that the bans are illegal hinges on the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. As of now, 27 states have them. Well, in NFL news, the return of a franchise legend happening in just about 5 minutes. Matt Ryan will officially be introduced as the Falcons' president of football. In his new role, Ryan will oversee all aspects of the team on the field. He will report directly to owner Arthur Blank. Now, Ryan spent 14 of 15 NFL seasons with the Falcons. In his final appearance as an analyst on the NFL Today on Sunday, he talked about his desire to reshape the franchise.
I want to be in the mix in the playoffs, and it's been too long there, and we're going to work really hard and find the right people to get us back into that position to be successful. But you guys know it, football, it's about the people. The building is about the people. There's a lot of really good people in that building that are already there.
Ryan will be introduced at 11 this morning at the team's facilities. Here's actually a live look right now. Looks like his wife and kids just walked into the press conference. It's going to be starting again in just about 5 minutes, and we will be carrying it right here on WTOC Plus once it does start. Very exciting news for Falcons football fans. All right, and finally here for the 10 o'clock episode on WTOC Plus. Check it out. Effingham County High School just got a little bigger. School leaders, students, and community members celebrated the official opening of the high school's new 150,000 square foot wing yesterday. The expansion, funded by East Bloss dollars, cost around $30 million. The new wing includes an auxiliary gym, weight rooms, a science wing, band room, life skills classrooms for special needs students, and more. School leaders say the expansion was desperately needed. Around 2,200 students are currently enrolled at the high school, and their superintendent says the extra space will help students get to class easier and have a better overall school experience.
It really kind of spreads things out a little bit so that during those transition times it's not as crowded in the older part of the building, and so it makes it safer as well as put students in areas that allow them to excel because they've got the facility resources now.
South Effingham High School will also receive an expansion in the future, and the new Creekside Elementary School will open its doors in the fall. A lot happening out there in the Effingham County schools. All right, well, that's going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus for the 10 o'clock edition, at least. We're going to take a 3-minute break. We'll be back at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock with that press conference with the Falcons' new head of football, former NFL MVP and Falcons legend Matt Ryan. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back in just about 3 minutes.